Continuing my look at Sumi inks, I'm going to be taking a look at the... I forgot how to pronounce it. Continuing our look at different Sumi inks, we are finally taking a look at the Yasutomo Black Sumi ink, because I am still dedicating myself to exploring this wonderful medium of ink. Let's go ahead and roll that awesome intro. What's up guys, I'm J-Rod of BATTLEBRAWLERproductions. Welcome to the channel if you're new here. If not, you know what we're all about, and that is exploring different artistic mediums to craft amazing comic book style artworks and illustrations. And today we're continuing a deep dive into Sumi inks with the Yamato Black Sumi ink. This sells for $8.99 at Hobby Lobby for 2 fluid ounces, though I've seen it at other places for as little as $6.99 and as much as $9.99. Now something I do want to make clear is I'm probably going to mispronounce this multiple times because I struggle with English and Spanish. What makes you think I can do Japanese, right? But I will say this real quick, I also believe that I grabbed the non-waterproof version. I wanted to grab the waterproof version, but they're not properly labeled. So after purchasing this and doing some research, I did find out this is the non-waterproof version. Either way, I'm really excited to take a look at this, and this has a very unique design. I've never seen like an inkwell that looks like this. This is definitely something you can't stick a brush or a dip pen in. You're going to have to use something separate like a shot glass to get the ink out of it. Very interesting. On the front, it has the name of the company, the fact that it's Black Sumi ink. It's good for drawing, painting, calligraphy, brushwork. Got a couple symbols here, a barcode. The Hobby Lobby put a sticker over because for some reason they don't use barcodes. Nothing on the back or these sides, and then we have a little white top. So very excited to get into this one. Let's go ahead and break out our sketchbook. Alright, first impressions, it's not too bad. Definitely not the smoothest Sumi ink I've ever used, or the smoothest ink I've ever used at all, but it's going down really well and it has a really nice solid black line. Usually with inks that aren't waterproof, you're going to see the lines not be as solid as I would personally like, or as some others may like. They'll definitely be a little more on the gray side. The last Sumi ink we took a look at that wasn't waterproof definitely followed that trend. It was very gray, but here if we notice, I'm not getting a lot of good solid lines. We're really seeing some railroading. We're getting a solid line, it's just not very long, so that's very interesting. That will make smaller detail work a little easier though, which is super nice. So you know we'll be doing some cross hatching in this piece. Just not getting the most out of my line, so I'm going to be dipping a lot more. Really want to see how this is going to work in our quill nib, so let's go ahead and test that. Very nice. In fact, we're actually getting a little bit of a longer line with that, so I think maybe the quill nib will be our preferred nib to use for this illustration. Very nice. It's still going. Really like that. I wonder why. I wonder if it's something with this ink that's specifically formulated, or it just happens because of the flow being able to work better with this. So very interesting. I really like this. Still going. We're going to keep going actually. I want to see how far we can take this. Alright, there we go. Now it just stopped. But yeah, I think what it is this part right here is holding onto the ink more efficiently than our dip pen, so we're able to get those longer lines. So that's really cool. We've never really had that happen before. Now let's go ahead and see how it is with a brush, because I really want to see that. Very nice. Super cool. However, if you notice, since I am thinning it out, I am seeing a bit more of the gray right here. So definitely getting some of that non-waterproofness right there. This is still really nice. Something to keep in mind, one of the cool things about Sumi inks is they're specifically formulated to help with calligraphy and traditional Japanese writing. So that's pretty cool. They're going to be really great with the brush, and it just feels really nice to work with this ink. Really do like the results we're getting. Of course, as I mentioned before, this ink is not waterproof, so we're not even going to do our waterproof test on it because we already know the answer to that. But yeah, really like the line work, really like the brush strokes that we got. It's definitely an ink that I'm okay with. It's not the best, it's not the worst. It wouldn't be my favorite. I wouldn't say this is top 10 material, but still, I'm pretty happy with this. I really like its performance so far, but we'll never know unless we do our actual full test. So let's go ahead and do our illustration. Today's illustration is something a little special, as it's not any of our superheroes or villains that we have established on the channel, but something brand new, as I'm drawing one of my close friends, Drew, as an assassin guard. I don't know why, he just wanted me to draw him as an assassin, and here we are. I did pencil this about a year ago, so the anatomy isn't super good, but I still really like how this came out, and I think I've kept Drew waiting long enough for this. So let's go ahead and get into this project. Inking this piece was super fun and very straightforward. It's an older pencil that I breathed new life in, and it's something I've been enjoying, and that's kind of been the trend for the last few weeks. Some people have probably been asking about it, and I'm just gonna say now, I do have a lot of old pencils because the way I would make art back then is I'd sit down, draw up a piece that or a pose that I want to do, and I'll put it in my drawer and ink it later for a review. But now I'm getting to a point where I don't have that many black inks left to try and review because I've done so many that I'm now just kind of having fun just bringing those older pieces out and redoing them or adding new life into them through this process. Because remember, inking is not tracing. You are solidifying the artwork to make it look as best as you can for either a presentation or for print. And that's what I'm really trying to demonstrate with this. I think that this pencil is very flawed, but I'm fixing it and adjusting it in the inks and helping to make it look better. This is also a piece that my friend Drew has probably been waiting way too long for, so I'm glad I was able to actually get it done for him. Now, normally with inks, I prefer ones that are waterproof, especially with Sumi inks, as the main benefit to a Sumi ink is the fact that it's alcohol marker proof. And while this ink was not waterproof, it was still super fun to use. I do still prefer a 100% solid black when I ink, but this gave me a 95-90% gray that I could still play with and layer with, and I had a lot of fun using it. I really did enjoy this process. Only major complaint when inking this piece was for some reason that I just can't figure out. The nib on my quill pen stopped working, and I'm not sure why. I'm gonna chalk it up to a faulty nib and not the actual ink itself, but that was really it, and everything else was really fun and easy to do. And if you notice, I actually did make a mistake and smeared some of the ink towards the bottom, but because of the nature of ink and the way I was doing this piece, I could easily clean it up. That's one thing that's pretty intimidating about ink, is when you make a mistake, it's there, but you can fix them. You just gotta know the tips, the tricks, and also know the limitations of the mediums that you're using, and I was able to fix it and incorporate it into this piece. I also went crazy with the splatter effect and had a lot of fun. And something to mention that since this ink wasn't waterproof, I went in and actually reactivated the ink for this cool multi-layer textured wash. Something that should be noted is I would have incorporated more of an ink wash, but I would have really thinned out and damaged the lines, so I didn't do it, and I felt the cape was the perfect spot to do it. Overall, I really like how this piece came out. I hope my friend Drew likes this, and I want to know what you guys think of the piece itself. Do you guys like it? Either way, I really like this ink. I think it's a really good quality Sumi ink that's not waterproof, much better than the C.H.A.M.B.E. non-waterproof Sumi ink we took a look at, and overall, I think this is a good tool to have in your tool belt. But let's go ahead and take a look at the piece in all its finished glory. Done. And guys, I really like how this piece came out. I know my friend Drew's gonna love it, and this was just a fun throwback piece. While the pencils weren't super clean, I definitely can draw better now, I still really like how the inks came out on this piece, and it has a really fun, energetic look to it. And if you guys do like my artwork, I do have digital posters available on my ArtStation account for as low as $1, and I also have physical prints that you can now order through ArtStation, starting at just $18 plus shipping. Really does help the channel out, and it's that first link in the description down below. And while you're down there, definitely let me know what you guys think of the artwork itself, areas that I could improve on, things that you like about it. Your feedback really does help me become not only a better content creator, but also a better artist. But let's put the piece to the side and talk about the ink itself. My closing thoughts on Yasutomo Sumi Ink Black is that it's really good and I really like it. As I mentioned in the time lapse, I prefer inks that offer me 100% black and are waterproof, but this is still really, really good. I still understand and appreciate the quality of this ink. It kind of makes me think of the Winsor & Newton non-waterproof India ink because there's so many overlaps with it. While this one doesn't give me 100% black, it does give me something that's close enough that I can still work with and layer. It reactivates really well, and it's another great tool to have in your tool belt. I will say though, if you are looking for a high quality Sumi ink that isn't waterproof, this is your pick. It's really, really nice, especially compared to some of the other inks that we've looked at. But if you're looking for just a ink that is really high quality that isn't waterproof, I still have to give it to the Winsor & Newton Black India ink that isn't waterproof. That ink is amazing at giving you 100% black, more easily reactivatable, and is overall just more affordable and available, as this ink I've only seen at the Blick store I work at, a Hobby Lobby near where I used to live in Virginia, and on Amazon, while the Winsor & Newton ink is available everywhere, including Michael's, so it's definitely going to be easier to get your hands on. I still think this is a really good ink to get, and I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10 on my scale of 1 to 10 because of how much I enjoy using it, but I do still have to recommend that there are some better, more affordable, and easier to get options out there, but don't want to take away too much from this ink because I still really like it, and I really recommend picking this up if you like Sumi inks. But with that said, that is my opinion, and I love to hear you guys in the comment section down below. So while you're down there commenting on the art piece, tell me what you guys think of the ink itself. Have you used it? Haven't you used it? Is it what you expected? Did I rate it fair? Always love to hear your guys' feedback. And while you're down there commenting, you can also leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more art and animation-based content. I want to thank you guys so much for watching all the way through, and stay tuned for some really fun projects that I have planned because we're going to be kicking it up a notch in our artistic endeavors. Thank you guys for watching.